Story time. Signing up for sailing lessons, showing up for only one, tying knots and first sailing. Today is Wednesday, 1 October 2025, and today is a weekend Wednesday. A Wednesday I treat like a weekend day. And here I, Tanis Coralee of Seattle, reflect for the story time on signing up for sailing lessons through the University of Hawai at Mānoa in 2012 when I was a student there, and then showing up for only one lesson, tying knots and first sailing. Yes, so I signed up for these sailing lessons in 2012, if I'm recalling correctly. I think I am. It was when I arrived at the University of Hawai at Mānoa, and I didn't really know anybody, and I'd been in Africa, and I'd been sexually assaulted when I was in Africa when I was studying abroad, or for the first half of 2012, and then I transferred universities when I was there. I was accepted to a couple of University of Hawaii schools, chose the University of Hawaii at Mānoa, started the transfer paperwork, and then transferred, and so I arrived, and so I didn't really know anybody, and I was kind of like looking for like a healing thing, and I was like, well, we had a boat growing up, and we didn't have a sailboat. And so they had these, through the kind of like recreational center through campus, they had different classes we could sign up for, and one of them was sailing, and I was like, that sounds like fun. And so I signed up for it, and I got there, and so it was actually on the water, and they had a small little sailboat, like, kind of like a dinghy, but a sailboat, so, you know, like, maybe like a 10-foot long boat with like a sail in it. And so before we got to go out on the water, we learned to tie different knots, the names of different knots, and then we actually got rope and tied different knots. And then we went out and got like a kind of really quick once over on what the different parts of the boat were. And so we went out on the water and did a sailing. And it was fun, and it was a lot. And believe it or not, I didn't continue on with the lessons because even though I loved the water, like in a boating sense, I was like, it completely fried my brain. Because in addition to dealing with the healing stuff and transferring universities and trying to find like a social new friend, I was changing majors. So it was like a new curriculum, so to speak, in terms of what I was focusing on in school. I was trying to find a job, and I did find a job, and that kind of stuff. And so it was just like, and it had all this nautical terminology, and I was just like, oh yeah, nautical terminology, and it's not the same as a powerboat. It's a sailboat, and I was like, I think my brain just can't quite handle this. At this point in time, so I only went to the one lesson, but it was a fun experience, and it was a great experience for me learning to like say no to something that was a continued thing, because I was just like, I'm for real just afraid my brain. So knowing my own limits was a great self-discovery experience in that sense. So that's story time, signing up for sailing lessons, showing up for only one, tying knots, and first sailing.